Hi Libras, welcome to your June 2019 monthly readings. Hopefully everybody's having a fabulous month. I like your reading, you guys. All right, so let's get into it here. So this is your no show and grow reading. All right, I like these readings because it deals with you as an individual, internal issues or blockages that you might be experiencing. Maybe you're aware of, maybe you're not aware of, maybe it'll help you become aware of things, but to get you to your next step in of what the universe has to offer you. All right, because we can be our own worst enemies in life. So the first three cards I read are they're affirmation cards, pretty much. So things you might want to say to yourself in the mirror in the morning, reaffirm yourself of. Okay. So your first card, it's what you need to know. It says, I am kind. All right. You have purple, blue, and green in that card. And purple always appears to me as spirituality. The next card you got is I am fire. That's what you need to grow. Okay. Fire has many interpretations. It can be purification. It can be letting the old die. Okay. It's passions, desires, ideas, creativity, that type of thing. What you need to grow. Okay. And then what you need to show is I am attention. So your intention is like what your thought process, what you're putting out there. It's like manifestation. You don't have the magician here. Did I say that the fire was grow? It's what you need to show. Sorry. Grow is intention. It's early in the morning, people. Okay? I'm not a morning person. Have some coffee there. Okay, your intention is highly important. So what you think about, you bring about. Okay? If you're worrying all the time, you're just going to attract that. All right? You have the Five of Pentacles. All right? Five of Pentacles, not the best card. It says worry on it. So that's going back to the intention card. Okay, so if you're worrying all the time, you're going to attract that. Self-doubt, you're going to attract that. Okay. Then you have the Queen of Wands. All right, very fitting under I am fire. Okay, and then you have the King of Wands. All right, and that's also very fitting. It says creator on it. I'm not sure why the Queen doesn't have any words on it. All right, but yeah, it says I am creator. Then you have the Empress card. Okay, creativity. You have the Hermit card. It's a Virgo energy. Okay, it says search on it. Okay, and then you have the Seven of Cups. It's projections. It says on it. Okay, Seven of Cups is illusions. It's also like the wishful thinking card. This gonna be my new name for that card, the wishful thinking. All right, it's like somebody who sits on the couch all the time and they're like, I want to lose weight, but then they're not taking the action to lose weight. They'd rather just sit there and wait or take a magical pill that they think that's going to help them. I mean, nothing's going to happen here without action. You have the Queen and King of Wands here, which is action oriented. The Queen and King of Wands, they're lookers. By lookers, I mean usually they're quite attractive people. It doesn't have to be a fire person. Okay, they could have their sun sign sitting in a fire house, or they could have other planets predominantly in fire houses. They don't have to actually have a planet that's fire. Okay, it could predominantly be in fire in the house. You know, like I'm a Sagittarius, but I sit in Cancer. My sun sign sits in Cancer. I actually have 4 planets that sit in Cancer. So I'm not your typical Sag. Nobody has the same chart, right? So everybody's different. I'm pretty watery. I'm pretty home-based. I do like being home. Everybody's chart's different, right? But this is wishful thinking, okay? So it's like you have a dream of a business and you're just sitting there thinking about it. Nothing's going to happen until you take the actions or the necessary steps to create that, okay? Then you have 3 extra cards that popped out, okay? You have the 8 of Cups, it's letting go. That's what it says on there. Okay, it reminds me of Tin Man because he wants a heart. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune. All right, Wheel of Fortune is associated, a lot of people are like, oh, it's Jupiter related. It is associated with Jupiter. However, its association is with all the 4 fixed signs. So you got Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. Okay, it's associated with those signs. So to me, that's like there's fixed lessons that you have to learn. Okay, Scorpio being the underlining issues. All right, you got to learn to let things go. That's pretty fitting. Scorpios can have a hard time letting things go. Okay, Taurus is being stubborn. There's good and the bad with everything. Okay, like being a fixed sign is not a bad thing. Okay, I got a lot of fixed energy. I'm stubborn as hell, you guys. All right, but the good with that is that you can hold your ground when you're stubborn. Okay, you can hold your ground and not back down, which makes you resilient. Okay, you won't give up on your goal when you have a goal. The bad thing with that is change can be really hard. So instead of adapting or making changes to a plan that, yes, could be very good because you're being stubborn and you're heading forward with it, but you have to be adaptable. You have to make changes, right? So as long as you can take that mutability in with it, and make changes, but keep the same plan, you might have to tweak it a bit. All right. So it means like not everything is going to come in the way that you see it. You know, like maybe you want to get married and have children. Okay. That's like, if you're a woman, that's your goal. Okay. Like it shouldn't be your goal. There's other things in life that, but perhaps you'll get that. You got to tweak it a bit. Maybe you'll meet a man that had children already. Maybe he'd been divorced. Maybe you're divorced, but maybe you're going to have a second marriage and you're going to have kids. It's tweaked a little bit. You know what I mean? You still get what you want, but you got to tweak it. You got to accept things. Okay. Leo, very stubborn too, right? Action oriented though. Okay. Aquarius, fixed sign. That's hope. Humanitarian has to do with that. So with the Aquarian energy, they can be detached, but there's lessons that you have to learn with that, right? Like to see what's best for everybody, you have to be selfless. You have to remove yourself from that picture, okay? So you don't have a biased opinion about things, and you have to do what's best for the collective, okay? So I don't know. Taurus is like material, right? Earth. Okay, so there's you have to consider the collective is what I'm getting somehow. You do have to be stubborn and move forward, but you got to be practical because that's Taurus, right? You got to be patient. It's not fast moving. Okay. Scorpio means you got to let go of things that are no longer serving you. All right. You got to see underlining issues, and then you got to let go of that. And then Leo, the Queen of Wands does represent Leo. You have the King of Wands. He is Leo too, right? They can be prideful. Okay, which means, what I get with that is like you got to take pride behind what you're doing. Pride can be a positive and a negative. It can hold you back. There should be honor and pride in what you're doing. So you're not looking to do things for a quick buck or anything like that. You're taking pride in what you're doing, ownership. All right. If you're building, you should be prideful of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Okay. Jupiter does come in once you've learned all the lessons and got all of the fixed stuff worked through, then Jupiter will come with abundance. But if you're fighting one of those, you got to learn to let go of it in order to see the possibilities. Okay, you got the Two of Wands, which means you have choices, decisions to make. There's multiple ways you can do things. The Wheel of Fortune means, again, Jupiter will come in abundance, but there are fixed things that you have to learn, lessons, tools and skills and abilities that you have to get before that Jupiter expansion comes. Okay. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I mean, that's not an issue, right? You do got to be slow, steady, and patient. Okay. So what you need to know, you got I am kind, you have the 5 of Pentacles, which is worry, and then you have the Empress, okay? So for some of you guys, this could be financially, you're concerned about something. Like the 5 of Pentacles doesn't always have to do with finances. It is being left out in the cold. And, for some of you, it could be your mother. Your mother feels left out. Like you need to include her more. Like doing things with her. The Empress does represent the mother. Okay? Or you could be worried about being a mother. But here's the thing. Mainly what I'm getting is if you have some sort of objective, a goal, or you want to move or something, you're worrying, not doing you any good, you guys. Okay? Um, you have to be creative in how you tend to things. Okay? Finances, if they're an issue, you need to be creative on how you got to start budgeting and be creative about things like I like to garden. I was into it a couple of years ago, then I stopped. This year I got back into it. Gardening can be expensive, you guys. However, if you're creative, okay, I guess you have to be a little bit humble too, right? Like, because some people, they like I go to the dollar store and I shop a lot. So a lot of the pots and things I get are from the dollar store, which means you're paying $2 to $3, right? Like, I actually seen one of the pots that I bought at the dollar store in a flyer, looked exactly the same, and the pot was $20, but I paid $3 for it at the dollar store. So you got to be creative on how you do things, right? But um, again, I don't care how people perceive me, though, right? Like I take pride in knowing that I save money. Some people can feel embarrassed if they go in a dollar store. Why? You work hard for your money, Like I'm hearing Tina Turner, Proud Mary right now. I'm not sure. I just keep hearing rolling. Oh man, you guys might want to listen to that song. Okay, so this means I think personally, what I'm getting here, a major blockage that you got is that you're worrying about things too much instead of being more creative about things. Okay, you already know what the problem is. You need a solution now. Okay, like rethinking about the problem isn't going to accomplish anything. The solution, focusing on a solution, and there's multiple possibilities. It's not determined, the outcome. It's determined based on your decisions. If you're not open-minded or able to change, then you can have a determined outcome. But free will always leaves things open to you. As long as you're open-minded to possibilities, okay? Some of you guys, gardening could be good. There is a seed here. I just noticed that. You see it? Right there? There's a little plant growing. Can be therapeutic for you guys too. You're going to be, what you need to know is you're highly abundant. Money shouldn't be a concern. Okay, so if you guys have a habit of having negative thinking and your thinking process is coming through here, your intentions, it is what you need to grow. I always recommend putting a rubber band around your wrist. I spoke about this last month. Actually, I just seen this in a movie too. They used it for being present. Okay, that's how they used it. But the way you should use the elastic is if you have negative mindset, like a negative thought process. Like if you want to achieve something and you notice it's like, what if this happens? What if that happens in your head into the negative? You want to snap it, okay? Because you're going to train your mind to snap back to reality and be present. And you're also going to associate negative, you're training yourself. So negativity with pain, right? Like you're tricking your mind, but it'll give you that split second to change your thought process to a positive. Okay. So what you need to know is you are very kind. All right. Uh, you might be kind financially. All right, but you You can't give too much at the expense of yourself because there has to be an equal exchange, all right? Because it could leave you dry. The Empress is, well, one, it could be talking about giving birth, your mother. It's creativity, though, right? Like, so you can be creative and like, you have to plant healthy seeds to get the proper flower, right? So when a plant needs to be pruned, it needs to be pruned because there's things that are killing it, right? The nutrients is going to bad leaves when it could be going to the actual bloom. So you want to trim off that bad leaf so the nutrients is growing to the actual fruit or vegetable or the flower, right? So you may have to trim some negativity out of your life, things that aren't serving you is what I'm getting. What you need to show is I am fire. You got the Queen of Wands, okay, and then you have the Hermit, which is search. Okay. Queen of Wands characters, this is what you need to show. So you need to be assertive. Okay. You need to ask for what it is that you want. Okay. Queen of Wands is also, she doesn't take no for an answer. I mean, like she'll accept it, but she'll go knock on somebody else's door. All right. Like she's very determined. She also doesn't wait, sit around for anybody. Okay. She gets things done herself. Right. She's a doer. All right. She's got places to go, people to see, and things to do. Okay. She's action oriented. She doesn't so much care about talk. It's all about doing. All right. So what you need to show is if you're going to talk the talk, you need to walk the walk. The universe is going to hold you accountable. So nothing's going to get done just because you want to. All right. It's going to get done because you're going to do it. Okay. There's got to be action behind what you say. Okay. With the Hermit, it's inner wisdom, and it's fitting that it comes out with the Queen of Wands because she's very self-assured, right? Not in an egotistic way. She's self-assured in if she makes a mistake because it is a queen, she will own up to it. She doesn't have a mask on either, you guys. See that? Her mask is off, and her mask is perfectly aligned with her face, right? So she's known to be, uh, she is assertive. So, I mean, out of all the women, she's in the queen category, the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, the Queen of uh, Pentacles. She's the Queen of Wands is assertive. She could step toe to toe with a man, right? Like she's not concerned about whether you're male or female. She doesn't really give two hoots. Okay, it's human. She's looking at people as a human, but she's more masculine than the other queens, which means she will stand toe to toe to a man. She's not going to back down. Like if she knows what she wants, she's going after it, right? She's an entrepreneur too, where uh, you need to show these qualities, all right? So that means that if somebody um, is saying, no, your idea is not good, well, you take on the Queen of Wands energy and you stand toe to toe with that person and you ask them, okay, give me the reasons behind why you're dismissing that so quickly, okay? And really listen to it because she's a queen and she's in the upright, which means she's willing, but she wants to see action behind it, right? So she doesn't care what you think. She cares what's being done. All right. So you gotta really watch people's actions this month and yourself included. Okay. So if you have a business idea, you're going to find out the information. You're like with the Hermit here, that's Virgo, that's research, development type energy. That's inner knowing, following your intuition. She's very self-assured. She doesn't need to be going along the beating path with everybody else. Okay, she can trail her own path. And if you're male or female, then as a male, you need to take on these um, qualities, right? You definitely you have the King of Wands, so you definitely have to take them on. Difference is if you're a male with the female here, what you need to show is that you're considering how other things affect your everyday things. So it's like if you're making a move, the female energy is considering not just her job, not just the location, but how is this going to affect my day-to-day life? Am I going to be able to, go to the gym? Am I going to have parks around? Am I going to be able to see my family? How about grocery shopping? Are there gyms around me? Again, how does it affect my friends and family life? How will this affect me getting to and from work? The time frame. Am I going to, there's multiple things being considered. Whereas a man is just, he's after moving. That's it. He'll think about those things after, right? But you want to think about those things ahead of time. How is one decision going to affect? Um, how is one action going to affect multiple areas in your life? Right? For every action, there's a reaction. Right? The Queen of Wands considers the reactions before she takes her actions. Okay. What you need to show is your desire, your passions. Also, with the Queen of Wands characters, well, they're most definitely the ones that will ask you out for like a night of fun on the town. So you'll go out for brandy. They, like Queen of Pentacles is more of the invite you over to their house for dinner. Queen of Wands is more let's go out and have dinner, right? But they're action oriented, so they need movement, right? With the Hermit there, it's like you need to trust you as your guidance, not other people, right? So trust your intuition, right? Like it could be something very small, like one day I was going to see a movie, and it was a beautiful day outside. Like I was in shorts and a sleeveless shirt. And when I went to see the movie, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to bring a sweater. I asked my boyfriend to wear a sweater. And he was like, why? I'm like, in case it's cold in the theater. And then I brought one of those, I think they call it a shawl or a long scarf, right? And I just stuffed it in my purse. And my boyfriend was like, why? And I'm like, in case it's cold, I can use it as a blanket in the theater. Like it's beautiful outside that day. It was like really hot, okay? And then we got to the theater and they were actually selling blankets in the theater, like to go see a movie. Like it was like $20 for a blanket. And we got in the movie and my boyfriend didn't end up taking his sweater off because it was so cold in there. And I was prepared because I brought my shawl and used it as a blanket in there, right? But that's an example of intuition, like following it, right? Like I had the thought, and intuition can just be a thought, all right? It doesn't have to be like this is an inner knowing, but a thought, right? I had the thought, oh, what if I'm cold in there, even though it's super hot outside, and we're sweating? What if it was just a thought, okay? And that was intuition talking, okay? Like, and it stood true in that moment. So trust yours. You don't need, my boyfriend's like, oh, you're being ridiculous. It probably in his mind, like it's so hot outside, right? But in the theater, it was super cold. So my intuition kicked in there. I would not have enjoyed that movie if I didn't bring the extra blanket. You have to trust yourself, okay? Also, with the fire characters, because I'm going to say characters now because you got both of them, they don't need approval from other people. So they're entrepreneurs, which means they could be doing things that other people aren't doing. They don't follow people; they lead. All right. So like, and sometimes when you follow people, you're following them to the slaughterhouse. You don't want to be a sheep going to the slaughterhouse. Okay. Like, so it's important that you trust yourself. Okay. Your guidance is key here. Your inner knowing is key here. It'll guide you to the people and places that you need. Okay. Okay. And then what you need to grow is your intention. What do you intend? Okay. You have the King of Wands here. That's a creator. That's a leader. Okay. It's a lion. All right. Lions, they do need a lot of downtime. Okay. They're hunters though. All right. The thing with the lion when he's like I don't know why I'm going to say this, but it's what came to mind. So the problem with the lion, when he catches a prey, he brings it back, right? And he tosses it to everybody. But until everybody tells him that they're full, he'll just keep going out and grab stuff and bring it back, right? So you need to, I don't know why I said that. The lions do need a lot of downtime. They have a den too, right? Like they got a pack. Being the king, he would be the alpha. All right. And what makes an alpha is not being the assertive one all the time. It's not being the loudest or the biggest. That doesn't make you the alpha of a pack. Okay. It's not being the one that's showboating, showing that they're smarter than everybody else, or, like it's they can be the quiet ones. They can be the observers. What makes a proper alpha is that they allow others to shine when need be. They don't take credit for things. They know everybody has a spot in the pack. Like everybody has a purpose, like and they're appreciated. Um, they can be at the back of the pack though, protecting the pack from behind. That's not always the one in the front. All right. Um, But what you need to grow is I'm intention, the King of Wands, and then the Seven of Cups, which is projections. So um, you need to be aware that other people can be projecting their inner wounds onto you. So that means like if somebody's telling you not to do something, they're telling you because that was their experience. And there could be, you don't want to dismiss that. Okay, there is value in the information or knowledge that they're giving you. However, it doesn't make it true. Take everything with a grain of salt. King and Queen of Wands, they know that, right? They tend to do things on their own to find out. They do consider things though, right? They've considered something before they do it. They're not foolish by any means. Okay, with the Seven of Cups though, Seven of Cups is illusions, right? That's like, again, going back to you want to lose weight. Well, if you're sitting on the couch all day, okay, and then you see an infomercial about a pill and you're taking the pill and you're like, whoa, nothing's happening. Well, there's no action to back it up. This is action. All right, you got to do it. You got to dream. Seven of Cups can be dreams. It's not a bad thing. All right, it's a wonderful thing to dream and to have vision. And the King and Queen of Wands, they have vision. However, you got to envision it, and then come back to the present and apply it. Okay, if you can't see it happening, it's not going to happen. You do have to see it. You do have to dream, but then you got to come back to reality, and you got to take the baby steps to make it happen. Okay, with the Seven of Cups, that's multiple ways, multiple options. Okay, so if you have the King and Queen of Wands, which are entrepreneurs, all right, that's like with the Hermit here too. That means you need to take action on getting the information. I always recommend, if you have an idea, a business or something like that, that you make a web for it. So you put your idea in the center, then you web out things that you're going to have to do, things that you have to research. Just you need to visualize it. You need to see it. Okay, you're going to think it, then you're going to write it. Okay, which is a visual. Oh my goodness, visualization of it. You need to see it. It's like to bring it into reality, to manifest it. It's kind of like, those people that have those dream boards, right? Like, okay, your idea, you need to create a dream board with that. You need to visualize it, but you need to see it step by step, what you're going to have to do, and then go out and get the information. Doesn't mean you take action right away on making the business happen. There's a lot of research and development that has to go into it. There's a lot of options and different ways that you can do it. However, in the beginning of the reading, we spoke about the fixed sign things, and I think that applies to that, whatever you have, okay? But what you need to grow is your intention, positive thoughts. If you got an idea, you got to take action on it. It's not just sitting there thinking about it. It's doing, all right? It's taking that cup and drinking it, all right? He's a doer. You got the King and Queen, all right? Some of you could find a partner, all right? There's, again, with the Two of Wands, there's possibilities, lots of different ways that you can do things. Align both the head and the heart. Don't just use one or the other, right? The King and Queen of Wands, they say it how it is. I actually find with the Wands characters, the female energy is more aggressive than the male energy. Sounds weird to say, and I'm not sure if that's just because society, has placed a double standard on us. You know what I mean? Because when a woman is being assertive, she's kind of looked at as, a B, like a bitch. Like it. But when a man's assertive, it's like he's being a man. Like, so that could be why I find that it comes across as the females being more aggressive than the males. But I do find King of Wands characters, they're pretty calm, cool, collective. They know what they want, and even when they listen to people, what they're saying to them, but they do know at the end of the day, it's their decision, not anybody else's. They take it into account, but then they know. There's an inner knowing, right? Female energy, she can be aggressive, right? She is aggressive, right? So she's definitely not the King and Queen of Wands. They're definitely not people you can control, all right? Like, that's not going to fly with them. They're going to break those chains pretty fast, and if they can't break the chains, well, then that bridge is going to be burnt. They need a long leash where. And if this has to do with your partner, well, I mean, it seems that you got a good partner, all right? The only thing with the fire characters is you got to remember, uh, like in any relationship, you got to give them wings to fly, and to fly away from home, and wings to come back to home, right? Like they need freedom, right? Like if society's like putting you in a box where you feel like your freedom's taken away, there's creative solutions. Like, if you want to build a home or something, like look into this tiny homes. All right. A lot of people, okay, there's no shortcuts in life, you guys. A lot of us think that, okay, well, because you have this perception here too, where um, society can tell you you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to go to college, you're supposed to have kids, you're supposed to buy a house, like, and in the manner that you feel that you have to do it is not necessarily true. And I mean, okay, I'm not saying this right, but if you build a tiny home, right, that's your two hands, you're doing the work, you're putting the money in it, okay? And it'll be, you don't have to do a tiny home. You can do, there's many avenues, you guys. You can do a shipping container home. They're really low cost. It's environmentally friendly. You just have to buy the land, right? And you may have to build it yourself. You probably have friends and family that can help you out, that know things, or there might be certain areas where you have to do contractors or whatever. However, you can build a nice home for $50,000 or less, a lot less than that, but $50,000, and that's if you're going to construction sites. They're leftover materials. You can buy it off of them. You can find like marble countertops from display models or people that are removing it from their house or whatever. There's creative solutions. Okay, you don't have to do things that the way that society tells you. Okay, when you choose the route of borrowing from the bank and somebody else has built it for you, it's kind of like a shortcut you're taking, but you end up sacrificing your long term. Whereas if you sacrifice your short term, your long term is not affected, right? So there's a lot of hard work and dedication into building your own shipping container home, say, right? And it's not what society deems acceptable. But however, you can own your own home and be mortgage free, whereas people who are doing it the way society tells you that you have to do it are going to be in debt until they're 60. Do you see what I mean? There's creative solutions that you have to wrap your mind around. There's a way out of like debt. There's a way to live free, because these guys are the ones that live free. I mean, like, they live by their own rules, like, he's a hunter gatherer. Okay. Like, um they're both entrepreneurs though, so if you have ideas, like Queen of Wands, like, there's wisdom there, so that means that you have the wisdom. It's definitely the energies you gotta take on. You gotta let go of what no longer serves you. Okay, if you have heartbreak and you think, oh, every relationship's going to be the same, it may end up the same because you're not willing to change, that you're going to attract the same person, right? Like, you can change the exterior parts of your life. You can change your hair, the way you dress. You could go to the gym and start looking different. You can change your partner, where you live. And I say this quite often, but it doesn't matter what you change externally. If you haven't done the work internally, everything's just going to end up repeating itself. Like, projections you want to be careful about, because that's other people's opinions. So it's like, if society's telling you you have to do it like this, you don't. You don't have to be in debt until you're 60. You can have everything you want in a creative solution, in a creative way. You want a home? Well, maybe you have to build your own, like with shipping containers. You know, like maybe you do want to do a tiny home. I would personally do a tiny mansion. Because I don't want to be living in a tiny space and moving things around constantly, you know? I want to relax, Rare. Your intention, though. What is your intention? You need to grow that. What is it you want? And then what I recommend is finding your why. You have to have your why. If you don't have your why, are you doing things? Are you doing it for your children? Is that your why? That's going to be your incentive to push forward. Are you doing it for your mother? That's your why. That's going to be your incentive to push forward. If you do not find your why, you're going to lack that motivation. All right? And with the Queen and King of Wands, nothing is going to happen unless you make it happen. Nobody's going to save you except you. You know, like nobody's going to hand you life on a platter. You're choosing to take the life, and you choose the direction in which you want to go. All right, you have a rabbit. You have a rooster on the top, though. The rooster's good luck, you guys. At least in the Portuguese culture. All right, so here's the image. Okay. It says the trickster. Trickster hare has hopped into your spread today to trick you into seeing your situation or actions a different way. Egos may be upsetting in balance of a community or of your life. And ego, you know, Leo does have an ego. Ego can be good and it can be bad. Everything has a positive and a negative, you guys. It's a balance of life. It creates energy. A positive and negative, you need to create energy. Perhaps you are not accepting life as it is. Pause, take a look at it another way. See it with humor and laugh at yourself. Trickster is asking you to see the bigger picture and find a deeper truth. Isn't this insight refreshing and funny? You can laugh at yourself, you guys. If you fall, you fall. You know what I mean? Like, I know some people, they get seriously upset when they fall. When I fall, I can laugh at myself. Why? Because I was an idiot. You gotta laugh at being an idiot, you know? Like, with the Hermit here, there's people that have done things before that you can go and research. It's research and development, I keep getting. You want a business, you can go to, a lot of governments have sponsorship programs, entrepreneur programs, help give you the information, put you in touch with people that have done it before, that have the information, the do's and the don'ts. The thing with being an entrepreneur, you guys, what works for one is not going to work for another. The entrepreneur business is actually a very mutable, we'll say, business. So it's not, you can't apply what works for a big company to a startup company. It just won't work. Like a startup company has to be very mutable. It has to be quick to change. And even if you've done one or two startups, what worked for the one startup might not work for the next one. You have to be open to possibilities. Okay. There's people that can help you, though. You have people with wisdom around you. And you yourself have a lot of wisdom. Follow it. Your intuition, follow it. You want to start that business, that's great. Write it out, see it, visualize it, hear it, speak it. All right. When you write it out on that web, and you know, you can get them from the dollar store, the boards, have it pinned up on the wall, and then do things step by step, you know, one step at a time. It's there for you to visualize and see what you have to be done. Okay. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Namaste, and I will talk to you next month. Ciao for now.